Portugal entered the World Cup with one of the strongest squads in the tournament. World-class stars, experienced leaders, a balanced team capable of beating anyone. Millions of fans believe this was finally the year Portugal would lift football's biggest trophy. But then came Spain. For 90 unforgettable minutes, Portugal's dreams slowly fell apart. It wasn't because Spain was simply lucky. It wasn't because Portugal lacked talent. The truth is far more interesting. Portugal made mistake after mistake, and Spain punished almost every one of them. From tactical errors to missed chances to mental pressure, 15 costly mistakes combined to end Portugal's World Cup journey. Today, we're breaking down every single reason behind Portugal's heartbreaking defeat. Let's begin. Mistake 1. Losing the midfield battle. Every great football match is won in midfield. Spain understood that perfectly. From the opening whistle, Spain controlled possession, dictated the tempo, and forced Portugal to chase the ball instead of controlling it. Portugal's midfield struggled to keep its shape. Players were often pulled out of position, leaving dangerous spaces for Spain to exploit. Instead of building attacks patiently, Portugal found themselves reacting to Spain's movements. When you lose control of midfield, you lose control of the entire match. And that's exactly what happened. Mistake 2. Slow ball movement. Against Spain, speed is everything. Not just running speed, but the speed of passing. Portugal moved the ball too slowly. Every extra touch gave Spain enough time to reorganize defensively. Every delayed pass allowed Spanish players to close passing lanes. Instead of stretching Spain's defense, Portugal made their attack predictable. Spain's pressing system thrives against slow teams. Portugal played exactly the kind of football Spain wanted them to play. By the time Portugal tried to attack, Spain's defensive structure was already perfectly organized. That made creating clear chances incredibly difficult. Mistake 3. Wasting big chances. At the World Cup, you rarely get many opportunities. When those moments arrive, you have to finish them. Portugal created several promising attacks but failed to convert them into goals. Some shots lacked power. Others missed the target completely. A few dangerous situations ended with poor decision-making inside the penalty area. Against elite teams like Spain, missed chances become expensive. Because while Portugal failed to score, Spain remained patient. They knew another opportunity would eventually come. Football often punishes teams that fail to capitalize on their best moments. Portugal learned that lesson the hardest way possible. Mistake 4. Defensive positioning. Defending isn't just about making tackles. It's about positioning. Throughout the match, Portugal's defensive line occasionally lost its compact shape. Small gaps began appearing between defenders. Spain immediately noticed those spaces. Their attackers constantly made intelligent runs behind the defense, forcing Portugal to retreat deeper and deeper. Even when Spain wasn't creating shots, they were creating pressure. And constant pressure eventually forces mistakes. Portugal's defenders spent more time reacting than anticipating. Against technically gifted players, that's a dangerous situation. One small positional error can completely change the game. Mistake 5. Failing to handle Spain's high press. One of Spain's biggest strengths has always been their aggressive pressing. The moment Portugal won possession, Spain attacked immediately. Instead of calmly playing through the pressure, Portugal often rushed their passes. Some clearances went straight back to Spain. Some passes lacked accuracy. Others were intercepted before reaching their target. The result? Portugal could never build consistent attacking momentum. Every time they looked ready to launch an attack, Spain forced another turnover. Winning the ball means very little if you can't keep it. And throughout the match, Spain made sure Portugal never felt comfortable in possession. At this point, Portugal were still in the game, but the biggest problems were only beginning. Mistake number 6. Too many back passes. As the pressure increased, Portugal became more cautious. Instead of moving the ball forward, they kept playing safe passes back to their defenders and goalkeeper. At first, this looked like an attempt to stay composed, but against Spain, it had the opposite effect. Every back pass gave Spain another chance to push higher up the pitch. The Spanish forwards closed down every passing lane, forcing Portugal into uncomfortable situations. Instead of escaping the pressure, Portugal invited even more of it. Confidence slowly turned into hesitation, and hesitation is exactly what Spain wanted to see. Football is often about bravery. On this night, Portugal became too careful. Mistake number 7. Leaving too much space on the wings. Modern football isn't only play through the middle. The wings are just as dangerous. Portugal's fullbacks frequently pushed forward to support the attack. While that created extra attacking options, it also left large spaces behind them. Spain recognized those gaps almost immediately. Their wide players stretched the pitch, forcing Portugal's defenders to cover more ground than they could handle. Every quick switch of play created another dangerous situation. Portugal spent valuable energy chasing the ball instead of controlling it. Over 90 minutes, those repeated runs exhausted the defense, and tired defenders make mistakes. Mistake number 8. Poor transition defense. One of the most important moments in football is what happens immediately after losing possession. This is called the transition. Portugal struggled badly in these moments. Whenever they lost the ball, Spain attacked with incredible speed. Before Portugal could reorganize, Spanish players were already moving toward goal. Several Portuguese midfielders were caught too high up the pitch, leaving the defenders exposed. That forced emergency defending again and again. Elite teams punish slow transitions. Spain didn't need many seconds to turn defense into attack. Portugal simply couldn't recover quickly enough. Mistake number 9. Poor decision-making in the final third. Portugal reached dangerous positions several times, but reaching the final third is only half the job. The final decision is what wins matches. Too often, Portugal chose the wrong option. Some players shot when a teammate was in a better position. Others tried difficult passes instead of taking a simple touch. Crosses failed to find their target. Attacks ended before they truly became dangerous. Against a disciplined defense like Spain's, every poor decision mattered. The difference between winning and losing at the highest level is often just one correct choice. Unfortunately for Portugal, too many of those choices went wrong. Mistake number 10. Failing to adapt during the match. Great teams don't just prepare well, they adjust. As the game changed, Spain continued adapting their tactics. They slowed the tempo when necessary. They increased the pressure at exactly the right moments. They controlled the rhythm of the match. Portugal, however, struggled to respond. Even when it became clear that their original game plan wasn't working, meaningful adjustments came too late. The same problems continued throughout the match. Spain grew more confident. Portugal became more frustrated. By the final stages, the momentum belonged completely to Spain. Football rewards teams that can solve problems in real time. On this night, Spain found the answers. Portugal did not. Why now? Portugal's World Cup dream was hanging by a thread, but the final 5 mistakes would completely decide their fate. Mistake number 11. Losing confidence after falling behind. Football is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. The moment Spain gained the advantage, Portugal's confidence began to fade. Players who had looked calm earlier suddenly started forcing passes, rushing attacks, and making unnecessary mistakes. Instead of sticking to their game plan, they became desperate to find an equalizer. Spain sensed that change immediately. They stayed patient, controlled possession, and forced Portugal to play on emotion rather than discipline. At the highest level, losing your composure can be just as costly as losing the ball. Mistake number 12. Poor game management. Championship teams know how to control every phase of a match. Portugal didn't. There were moments when they needed to slow the game down, regain possession, and rebuild their confidence. Instead, they rushed forward too quickly, leaving spaces behind. Every failed attack gave Spain another opportunity to control the tempo. The game gradually shifted further in Spain's favor. Portugal weren't just chasing the score anymore. They were chasing the match itself. Mistake number 13. Lack of leadership in key moments. Every great team needs leaders when the pressure reaches its highest point. Portugal had experienced players, but during the most difficult moments, the team struggled to stay organized. Communication became less effective. The defensive line looked uncertain. The midfield stopped controlling the rhythm. Instead of one player calming everyone down, frustration began spreading across the pitch. Spain, meanwhile, remained united and disciplined. That difference in leadership made a huge impact during the final stages of the match. Mistake number 14. Spain executed their plan perfectly. Sometimes football isn't only about what a losing team did wrong. It's also about what a winning team did right. Spain arrived with a clear tactical plan. They pressed aggressively. They controlled possession. They moved the ball with speed and confidence. Whenever Portugal looked dangerous, Spain quickly regained control. They didn't panic. They didn't lose their shape. They simply played their system with incredible discipline. Portugal made mistakes, but Spain also deserved enormous credit for forcing many of those mistakes. Mistake number 15. Failing to take their biggest opportunity. World Cups don't come around every year. For many players, they only get 1 or 2 real chances to win football's greatest prize. Portugal had the talent. They had the experience. They had millions of supporters believing this could finally be their year. But talent alone doesn't win championships. Every missed chance, every tactical mistake, every moment of hesitation, every small error added up until there was no way back. And when the final whistle blew, Portugal's World Cup dream was over. Football can be both beautiful and heartbreaking. The difference between victory and defeat is often decided by the smallest details. Portugal didn't lose because they lacked quality. They lost because, over 90 minutes, too many small mistakes combined into one painful result. Spain stayed disciplined. Spain stayed patient. And when their moment arrived, they took it. For Portugal, this defeat will be remembered as a lesson in how quickly a World Cup dream can disappear. But that's the beauty of football. Every ending creates the beginning of another journey. The question now is, can Portugal come back stronger in the next World Cup? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another football documentary. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.